Hi, everybody. Welcome to Rykel at Law. And of course, I'm so happy and fortunate to have my second guest on the show, the very well known Sanjay Smith, attorney at law and former but dormant DJ. He'll correct me if that's wrong. So we're here, and this is another segment of the installment of Rykel at Law Insights with me. Sanjay, thank you for being on the show.
Yeah, man, no problem.
So a lot of people are wondering, is Sanjay still DJing?
I still do, but not at the same level I used to. So when I was DJing full time, of course, it's a different wide variety of events, locally and overseas. And to be honest, to play on that level while being an attorney it's not really possible.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a reality situation. In fact, to do that while even in law school was extremely difficult. I had to actually cut down from law school.
Mm-hmm.
So I still do, mainly private functions though, weddings and such, select events.
Right.
So I still do, but not anywhere near how I used to do it. I used to DJ probably like 6, 7 times a week.
Mm-hmm. I know it's down to just the rarity of an event,
Just
a wedding event.
select events.
Yeah.
So if I'm at an event, it's a select event.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, obviously, a lot of people are saying we miss the Sanjay touch when it comes on to events and parties. Yes. Um, Tell us though, you have before we delve into the attorney side of who Sanjay is, tell us, you have developed and garnered that much experience about DJing. Do you consider the business of DJing any different? I mean, I know you don't do it anymore, but I suspect you have connections and relationships with current DJs who can tell you about what the business is like today. What's the comparison you can make between DJing back in the day and now?
Back in the day, my God, make it sound so bad.
I'm sorry. I mean,
Say back in the day.
I mean, when
So when
you used to.
when I started,
When you start. Okay, when did you start?
all right, when I started DJing, would have been in the mid 90s, mid to late
Okay.
90s, about 97, 98.
Mhm.
I was in high school at the time. So it was a thing. St. George's College, we are known for entertainment in some way, shape, or form. If it's not so, history of George's persons who went into music. You have Tony Mataran, you have Conley from Ward 21, Bobby Chin from Black Shiny, Super Twitch. You have myself, you had I think two other guys in Copper Shot at the time. And you had oh God, then you had persons who went into production, they went into events, and it was just a whole lot of stuff that was going on. So the comparison in terms of what it was like when I began DJing to perhaps I would say about 2000 and maybe about 2010. So we're talking about from 97, 98 to 2010. You saw the change from records to CDs. And you saw the evolution of the professional DJ CD player into platforms such as Final Scratch and Serato. And I mean, funny enough, I think there was always about there in the industry. What's it called again? Oh my God, the other one, that other computer software there. Oh God, I don't remember the name of it, but it's been around for quite Winamp and other things that were around from a long time ago. And virtual DJ is what I'm trying to remember. That's been around for a very long time. I think even before Serato. So the evolution of music and how it is played and what is played from had changed. Now we're more using controllers. It's an all-in-one unit. You can get one for like 300 US. Back when I started, it was turntables. One turntable, even now, if you're buying a Technics 1200, that's 950 US dollars each. So you buy two of that. So you already gone almost $2,000.
Right.
Then you had to buy a mixer. And you can either buy a scratch mixer or you could buy a 4-channel professional mixer.
Okay.
So you'd look at, and back then it was called a coffin
Okay.
because it was that big.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, it was big.
Coffin size. Okay.
It was coffin size, and it was black, usually black.
Mm-hmm.
So the cost to come into the business was higher back then. The cost is lower now, in the sense that when you're moving from buying the music physically, if you don't buy it, you couldn't play it, to downloads. So we're going to talk about things like from records to downloading software like Napster and LimeWire, right down to where we are now in the industry. You can rip songs off YouTube and play it in like 5 minutes.
Right.
So the cost to come in the music business was higher back then. It's cheaper now. There are persons who come to you and say, I have a hard drive now, you can give me some song. So you can copy 5,000-10,000 songs in under half an hour.
Right.
So versus buying 5,000 or 10,000 songs 20 years ago. So the cost is a lot less. There's pros and there are cons, and it really comes down to, so I always say, it's good to have the music, but it's more important to know how to play the music. It's very different.
Right. I agree. So, especially the playing part, that has a lot to do. Well, I think the success of any DJ has a lot to do with how it resonates with the patrons, the crowd.
Mhm.
Do you think the crowd reception of DJing today is any similar or any different compared to in the 90s, the 2000s, early 2000s, late 2000s? And if not,
Mhm.
if dissimilar, what do you think is the reason for that?
So the pace of music in a Jamaican party, there's a book called Ideas written by Dr. Kingsley Stewart, aka Ragashanti. There was a course called a dancehall course at UA in Oxford. Back then it was called SY27D, sociology and dancehall and such. And it examined the music, the party space, the dancehall space, not just the music, but the fashion and the lifestyle, everything. And the pace of the music has always been pretty fast. It is faster now in terms of how somebody can mix. The reception is still more or less the same in terms of, yeah, we like this song. The difference now is that there is quantitatively, there's more music. Qualitatively, that's another argument.
Which I think we'd love to embark on, but
That's another.
I'll let you finish.
So the reception and the energy is still there. The beauty about the evolution of the DJing material and equipment is that it gives you the option to do. I'm so sorry. Actually, I have a trial.
Phones off.
Actually, I have a trial tomorrow.
Oh, that's a client?
No.
Oh, shoot.
But yeah, that's somebody connected to them.
Okay.
All right. So the ability to do more with a DJ console and the software, it's wider.
Mhm.
It's wider. And it opens the door for creativity. So for example, with Serato now having stems. Now, when persons hear stems, you're thinking to yourself, like a flowers.
Yeah.
All right. So think of a song as like a tree. Right? Now, the base of the tree is a branch.
Okay.
The root, that's the branch. But then what makes up the tree is the different leaves and the whatever.
Mhm.
So if you break it down, leaves, the fruit, the smaller branches, the main branch, and the root.
Right.
And the root will be the sun.
Mm.
Now, in a song, you have different layers. So you have the drums, then you have the keys, and you have the bass, and you have if you're gonna go deep, you layer the rhythm in different pieces of instruments. So with stems now, you're able to isolate that.
Okay.
So back then it was just you turn the bass down. Now you can take out the vocals and you can do it on the fly while you're mixing, which is great. And when I used to be a studio engineer, and work on productions and such. We spend hours in the studio trying to put certain things together, and then now you can just do it a lot easier. So it opens the door for creativity. Um, it's the reception is better. It's the same
Right.
once the person knows what they're doing.
Right.
Because if a good DJ is somebody who just can mix from A to B, DJing is a package. Worse now.
Right.
Back when I began the sound system was 3 people playing, which was the mic man to talk, the selector to choose the records,
Right.
then the DJ to mix the records. Now everything is in one.
Right.
So before a DJ plays, he's supposed to read the crowd before and during, and then anticipate. So from that, he can make a selection. And if it's during the set, he's playing these set of songs and it's not working, you must can say, all right, then fine, this is not working, let me change.
Yeah.
And if you can't change on the fly, but you're going to stick to what you're going to play, then we call them playlist DJs. I don't business.
That's an actual.
It's a term.
Oh, okay.
Playlist selectors. Yeah. I don't care who vex. Who vex.
I feel like we all have experienced playlist DJs at some point.
Oh yeah, man. So if you're not able to evolve your selections on the fly, and you become predictable, or you just stick to one thing, I mean, it's not working, you're flogging the dead horse.
I agree.
The guy who comes after you, he must play one song and he erased everything that you did. It's like that.
And I think it's what I find quite interesting when I'm a person that observes DJs. I might not know the science of it, but certainly from a patron's perspective, I always listen to how they synchronize the flow or create the flow from one song to the next, and whether or not it's a fluid one. And a lot of times, like you said, if it's a song which isn't meeting the crowd, at least the crowd can be an older crowd, and you find that you're playing a song that's not meeting the crowd, then I feel like that's something that you ought to consider as a DJ.
I want you to stop right there. What you just said, I want you to put that in a short clip and put it up there. Because there's a principle I teach. I believe that there's no way a DJ will be, anybody in any industry is gonna be around forever and ever. Amen.
Right.
You have to be able to pass the button.
Right.
No. One thing I've always said is this: the patron may not know the technicalities of DJing, but they know when something is wrong.
Yeah.
The big difference now in the industry, in the party space, is that people start boo and buckle people and clap people. Because I can tell you, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, if a DJ play, all right, we give you like a 3 strike. So find first song, don't connect. All right, let's try and work with this guy. He's just starting his set. Let's just give him a little chance.
Right.
He said after the 3rd song, you hear the first boo and the first clap, it does like a wave.
Really?
That's what it used to be. So the big difference really is the crowd has gotten more
lenient,
patient, and tolerant.
Yeah.
And they take their grosses to Twitter or X or whatever it's called, or social media. Back when I was in high school and a man play foolishness, immediately the crowd make you know.
Yeah.
Buckle, boo, clap. Yes, come off, that was nice. They don't care who you are. Even artists.
Yeah.
You sing the wrong line. Yeah, get off. And they can watch it on YouTube. The energies back then were actually higher. The energies in parties now are a bit low.
Yeah.
More posing, everybody's rich, but then broke.
Yeah.
And back then, in high school, it was about the party. There was no bag of cameras and social media.
Right. It was about the vibe.
It was about the party. Right? And the difference, and I'm starting to think deeper now. The difference now is that there's too much posing. There's too many wannabes. Everybody rich, but you live with your parents. Really? Come on. Now, I don't really mince words.
That's a good thing. I think the authenticity comes from that,
And when we used to party when we were younger, And we start partying for pre-game. Then we go to the first party. Reach the party like 10, 11 o'clock. Leaving the party like 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning. Stop by Fatty's or you get a pan chicken or something, no matter where you were. Some parties were melting pots. Uptown, downtown, no matter where you are. Ras is one of them. You don't know Ras, probably because Ras is before your time.
It's
But
a party?
But you know, main event.
Yeah.
Two other persons in main event were the persons who kept Ras. So Ras was actually initials. Richie, Andrew, Solomon. So the R and the S are the two persons who run main event.
Oh, okay.
That's why they know events so well.
With them, it's guaranteed, or
I'm talking about from the mid-90s, come right down, and this is experience, wisdom. So there were melting pot parties. It was just about having a great time. Yeah. Touching a party is not a new thing. I see it come up now, almost like, yes, it's coming back, that's good. Back then you had to have your shell tax, your bacon, or bop. Whatever it was, and you had a great time. Partying back then was so much more fun because people were just about trying to have fun versus trying to look rich and pose. And take social media. Yo, dog, rich. Really? You like Bill Deal still? You paid? No.
I agree. No, I think that there is something valuable about just enjoying a party instead of just being a poster or posting it for the gram or whatever it is that you post it on. I think we need to find a way as individuals, and maybe this is just a lost cause now, a case, but we need to find a way to kind of preserve that authenticity of just enjoying the moment and not trying to capture it when you can actually live in it. So that takes me to another aspect of the DJing business. We'll get to the law part.
Oh man. All right.
What are these DJs saying though about the business of it? Are they making more money? No, because of, I guess, the quantitative aspect or the increased number of parties and events? No, as against then. And then again, I'm not even sure. This is just me thinking that they're
Well, it depends on what the DJ does. Because there are DJs who are specialized. I want to say that word. Specialized in particular type of events or particular type of markets, genres, for example. So if you're able to connect globally or regionally or even island wide, you will do well. And the key to really making money in DJing is not just trying to be locked down to a particular style. If you're not able to do different types of events, you will make your money, but you won't make the kind of money you may want to make. And there comes a point in time that you may have to look outside of your comfort zone and expand your reach. Expanding your reach is where you really make money in any business. Not just music, but just law, banking. I mean, it's all about expanding your reach. So that's, and I remember a conversation I had with somebody who I respect, really cool guy, friend of mine, really cool guy, Chris Willie. He was discussing, we're talking about business, and he spoke about the importance of not just having, oh, this is my one customer. He brings in me $5-10 million worth of investment.
Yeah.
But then you have another guy who has the same $10 million in their investment portfolio as they're the agent, but they have 10 persons giving them $1 million to invest. When the person with the one $10 million investor, when that one investor goes, you have zero.
Yeah.
If I have 10 investors, each in $1 million, and one leaves, I have 9.
Right.
Apply that same principle to music. You do events for this type of event, that kind of event. You can do corporate, you can do sweet 16s or weddings, and you can do MC. You can be in entertainment, make money, and make very good money if you are diverse. So in terms of whether or not you're making more money now versus back then, it really comes down to the person, because one person's experience will differ from somebody's experience.
Right.
Flying out is where you really
Bit of money.
Yeah.
I think it needs to be said. So expanding your reach is pertinent to a successful business in DJing. Question though, this is a Jamaican context. We know that a lot of Jamaicans, mark you in a different time, have failed to reduce their business transactions into writing. Is it contractual in the DJing business? And if not, is it something that's practical for that kind of business? Which I would think in any case, yes. But I'll allow you because you know what, you know the business more than I do.
Now, any business is based on some amount of contracting.
Mm-hmm.
Any business, no matter what it is. The art industry is perhaps one of the most abused industries worldwide. Anybody who does, not just persons who DJ, but persons who sing, persons who draw, persons who paint, persons who dance, persons who make music, most abused. A lot of times, DJs don't understand. If somebody calls you, say, hey, listen, I want you to play this party from 8 until 2. And you say, fine, this is my cost. My cost is, say, $25,000. Argument's sake. 8 to 2, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times it's not in writing, but it's spoken. But when you get to the party at 7:30, you realize that at 7:30, the sound don't even reach. But you're there. You have already begun to uphold your end of the contract. It's now 2 o'clock. Promoter said, boy, crowd kind of late, you know, so I said, I go till about 3:30, you know, man, let's go on the thing. And he said, no, but I have another event to go and play at 3 o'clock or at 2:30. I took this event knowing that, or believing it finish at 2 o'clock. Then you hear about, no, you can't leave, and if you leave, I'm not pay you. And a lot of times it happens that way. And I would suggest to everybody who is doing DJing, put it in writing. Either by WhatsApp, send an invoice, because you can always export the chat.
Right.
And you need to be cognizant of what your rights are and what the contract really says. Because if you know, and this is a mixed law with music law.
This is all I wanted to say.
You and I both know that if it's not in writing, come on to parole evidence. He said, she said, we're back and forth. But then I go, hey, Judge, you know, there's a WhatsApp conversation. Let me export it and make it available. Oh yes, let's exhibit that. Boom.
Some amount of evidence.
There you go.
Yeah.
And cases can be won or lost based on WhatsApp. And in civil law now, you're seeing an increase in the amount of WhatsApp conversations that are coming up.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So it is critical to understand what your rights and the terms of any agreement is.
I think it's very important for you to even bring that up because, I mean, we like to speak in principle about the importance of doing contractual arrangements, right? And that's why I think I might have asked about the practicality of it in certain businesses because, for example, in DJing, maybe by doing it in a formal contractual form, some business contractors who are contracting these DJs prefer not to have that done. And so a lot of times these DJs will in an effort not to sabotage their relationship with these persons, run along with it. So I think, like you said, WhatsApp communications. If it's even
you need to be clear on what you're doing.
Be very clear in the communication. What was said. If it is you had a telephone conversation, make reference to it in a WhatsApp conversation.
Send an email.
Or send an email that we just had that conversation. I think it's something that can assist your attorney when time comes for you to enforce your rights.
Give me an example. It's a story. Maybe hypothetical, maybe true.
Let's hear it.
Let's hear the story. Gentleman enters into an agreement to play a function. He has 2 or 3 functions lined up for the week. On the way to one of the functions, somebody hits his car. Car crashes. he's severely injured. He'll recover, but he broke his right hand. He's right-handed,
Mm-hmm.
and he also has a injury to his face where he can't speak. So he's out of commission for 3 to 4 weeks. He isn't the person at fault. He was hit from behind.
Okay.
Okay, good. We're on to PI now. It's time to sue. Now, loss of income.
Yeah.
If you're only DJing and they ask you to prove what did you lose because you can't work for 3 weeks,
Right.
and you say to yourself, that will a thing line up, versus him saying, no, here are the invoices that I have that I sent off that were due in this time frame. I was injured and I cannot work, so I lost out on these contracts, which I signed to.
Yeah.
That is why it's important to
That's
put in
that's especially
black and white.
I actually love that hypothetical situation because in more ways than one, it's showing you the importance of loss of income, loss of opportunities, loss of chances, which are recoupable. And so we go back to just the importance of having it reduced in writing. Ensure that it is. Because, like Sanjay said, the implications are there in the absence of proving same. No, we're in the law realm.
Oh, my full name. Okay, all right, let's go.
Sanjay is an attorney at law who practices. Well, tell us what you practice exactly.
So I do criminal defense, conveyance, and family probate, and I advise on other areas of law to other attorneys who call me.
Okay.
Civil and criminal appeals. A lot of criminal appeals as well. So those are my areas.
And your office, well, thankfully Sanjay allowed us to join him at his office. Tell us where you're located.
4 Duke Street, first floor. I operate from the chambers of Mr. Christopher Anthony Townsend, TWP attorneys at law.
All right, how has the experience been? You've been called for some time now, and
Couple years.
couple of years.
Couple years.
But Sanjay is no stranger to the law because your dad was a well-known attorney and your family are persons who have been exposed to the law. Um, does it feel any different from, I guess, well, it did it help to have family members who were associated with the law before you started?
It does help. And every experience in life is supposed to teach you something. It's always good to have someone to ask for help. Family who can say, hey, no, man, do this, and they guide you certain ways and they help you certain ways, and they introduce you to the industry. Working with my dad especially was amazing because when I remember I got called on December 10, went to court by myself, won the case on December 11.
Wow.
The next day, not ramping. Oh,
Certificate?
of course, no. I'm telling you what my thing. When I got called,
Yeah.
and the ceremony was over, went straight over to the GLC. I said, "Here's my money. I'm gonna start working immediately."
Yeah.
So I kept my family background a secret while going through law. It wasn't until I think it was like last year law school that it kind of came out between mock trial and somebody said, "Oh, he's Ernest Smith's son, I must be going, oh boy, we're keeping this a secret for years. Let's and they'd be like, yo, Ernest was your father. Oh my god, remember that big search office case? Yeah, I was like,
Oh my God.
yeah.
They brought it up?
Somebody brought it up in the
Ruthless
lounge.
people.
And I was like, yeah, that's my pop still. I didn't really want that to be, because there are persons in not just in law, but like just in general in life who go around and say who the parents are, the last name touting.
Yeah.
My last name is Smith. It's a very common last name. I believe that having a good family legacy is great. It's something for you to really and truly want to continue, not to boast about.
Right.
That's a big difference. So my dad didn't go to law school in Jamaica. He went to England. So no matter what, my thing was, I am the one who was in that seat. I'm the one who writing those exams. Everything is on me. I can't just write on the exam, oh, my father is and my sister is. No, hell no. It's you. It's you. It's your work. It's your sweat and tears. It is your effort. Without your own effort, nothing to show for it. So that was the background. It helped. I can't deny it helped. It helped to make me not feel as uncomfortable and to show you the connection between law and music. Now, there are persons who say that, when they talk about law, they have this heavy tongue and this accent, Law is I was like, shut up. First of all, law is art.
Is it? It is. It actually
No,
is.
I remember, I won't say who I was speaking to when I was still in school, when the conversation came up, and I said, hold on. I said, law is art. Don't think it's a joke thing. Because think about it, when we were in high school, we're told, if you want to the law, you have to do history,
That's it. That's where
History is falls under humanities. My first degree is from the humanities faculty.
Right.
So I'm a bit of a nerd. So I'm a first degree language and communication. So the courses that persons were taught, you are told you had to do to get into law, are all arts courses.
Agreed. I had to do literature as a part of
Literature and history are things that you're told you have to do. These are art subjects. Now, the practice of law is also, it encompasses the art of advocacy.
It does.
Not the sense of advocacy, the art of advocacy.
Right.
When you go into a trial and you hear an advocate on his feet or her feet and they're at it, you're just like, this is poetry.
It is.
And then when they come out of court, it's a whole different persona.
Different people.
It's like theatrics, it's like theater.
Right.
So when you're painting the picture of what happened in the matter, to then get to the full picture at the end with the cameras, everything, that's art. Just like how they say, oh my God, I did chemistry, I did biochemistry, but then the highest one would be medicine. Oh, I do history and I do literature, the highest one would be then law. No.
Oh, that's an interesting perspective.
That is exactly. And when I said to the person, the job was somewhere between Earth and probably the equator or something, because you're like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Actually doesn't make sense. So public speaking, for example, it's very important. There are persons who, I'm a first class honors and all the things in the world. That's great to have, But if you cannot put it into practice, it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
There's a theory by Noam Chomsky called competence and performance. It's basically saying your competence is here. Your performance is your speech. Tarzan is the prime example. I think the book is called Language Acquisition. It was taught by Dr. Stewart.
Okay.
I think it was L21A. The comparison was Tarzan in the jungle swinging on the tree vine. He sees Jane. In his mind, he goes, all right, I'm going to go to her and say, I'm Tarzan. What is your name? I'm going to say, hi, are you Mary? Oh my God, you look so well. He all these ideas in his head. And they sound very, very grammatical, very smooth. He goes before a mirror, me Tarzan, you Jane.
Yeah.
You see the difference?
Yeah.
It's performance.
Yeah.
So that is why when you're DJing or when you do public speaking or a certain level of arts and you go into law and you go into advocacy, you don't have observer's paradox. You don't see a camera or a crowd and you get shot. But you shouldn't. You're able to just do it.
Agreed. Yeah. So for example, Aristotle and Cicero, those are artistic theorists, persons who are known to be advocates, and as you said, there is a law is art. That's one of the undertones of what you just said, and so I agree.
Indeed.
So where are we now?
There's so much.
There's so much.
We're in law and you asked me about the background and
yeah,
such.
I was actually going to even add to what you said about the importance. Yeah, the importance of what you said about the theatrics, and I was going to say that in the criminal arena in particular, you have that opportunity to really create a performance before a jury, because a lot has to do with how it is you as an attorney, I guess, appears at the time another person is making an objection, when it is that they're making a statement which might be at least compromising or hurtful to your case. Your posture as an attorney sitting there while that objection is being made and being watched by the jury is something that you have to think about.
Of course.
Right? So those things, and you know that you have to put on your poker face and and not appear perturbed. So to me, all of that is a part of the theatrics.
You know,
Mhm.
when I was in mock trial, the mock trial coach, brilliant man, Sir Fletcher,
Mhm.
he gave us an example of advocacy, and he moved it from just a spoken word to body language, posture, and what is critical. Now, if somebody, for example, the complainant comes into court and they are giving their version of what they say happened, and the jury is looking at the person like, taking in what you say. Then my last look and say, hold on, so how come when you get asked certain questions, you buck shuffle and you
Right.
then watch that. And how you speak to a jury. I remember my mock trial was crazy. My mock trial was crazy. Actually, one
Who
mic.
did you guys go to?
So we did, I think it was a Peterbad case.
Oh, okay.
And of course, I was the defense. And the persons who came as a jury,
Mhm.
they said like, yo, not guilty. It was like, oh, how, why? I was like, well, how he spoke to us. Now, communication is a very critical part of anything. A client coming to your office, your client is not to sound hard, your client is he or she is
Difficult part?
yeah, let's use
Okay.
difficult. And you're using these multi-syllable words that you know what they mean. They may impress the client, and the client walk out and say, "Oh, it's a while ago." It's critical. Give you an example. If I say to you, Rykel Chong, he's not gonna buy a plate. I'm gonna change him plate. What would you think?
Think they're gone buy his plate? Change his plate?
Yeah, I'm gonna buy a plate.
What kind of plate? Like a plate for license plate?
All right, I'm gonna tell you something. There was a case many years ago that man said no, and the man said, sorry, I got from the attorney. That man said, listen, the company said, yes, I knew it was the person because on the day I went to go change my plate. So what is like change plate? Like like a saucer?
Yeah. Okay. So
Turns out that plate meant false teeth is the bridge.
what?
Exactly. So you have to know the little things that your client is referring to. So when you think about
Neat. Okay.
yeah,
I wonder, people still say that? Like for you?
it depends on where you are. It depends on where you are. So contrary to what some people might believe, um, the lifestyle
Of a person dictates how they speak.
it does, and if you're unable to communicate with people at all levels, nah, that's not how it's gonna work.
I agree.
That's not how it's gonna work. And if you move from, let's say you work at a big firm, and the big firm is into somewhere in rural Jamaica, where to us it is annoying that the water pressure is low on the 5th floor of our apartment complex.
Right.
Versus somebody who you drive past the house is on stilts and it's an outhouse. They have two different types of lifestyle, two different types of concerns. So if you're not able to then understand that lifestyle, how can you then extract from the person what transpired around the property on the day? You have to understand who and what you're dealing with and where you're dealing with. Because if you can't, then you're in problems.
Agreed.
Come back to music. I'm not going to play the same way at a wedding, then go to a hardcore dancehall party and start off the same way. It may not work. Especially if the crowd is under the age of, say, 22.
Right.
Versus a wedding where the persons are in their 50s and 60s. Mm-hmm. A 50-year-old person relates to music when they're about 12. That's 38 years ago. 38 years ago, carries it back into the 80s. Mm-hmm. So, somebody who is 22 now was born in 2002. Right. Give Me the Light came out in 2001.
Mm-hmm. Really? It was 2001, yeah.
Because Buzz Rhythm came out in 2001. The Sean Paul got the big attraction the year later.
Oh.
And Diwali was 2003.
Mm-hmm. Love the Diwali rhythm.
All right. Now, back up again.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward to now when they call it Dirty Money Rhythm.
Which one is that again?
With the let me someone you don't know, like.
Oh, that's one, no, yeah.
All right. That rhythm came out in 2009.
Yes, yeah.
Because when the rhythm was finished, I remember this distinctly. Tariq called me, Russian. Sanjay, Mr. Tariq, what going? I'm ready to give you. He saying to me right away. I play on it in 1 hour. I'm sending me the rhythm. It's 2009. 2009 is 15 years ago. And here we are now.
Yep.
So the 20-year-old who is now dancing to that rhythm say, yeah, man, yo, baddest thing. Not knowing that the same 30-year-old person is going, yo, I remember this.
Yep. And that happens in music. That's happening now, especially because if you check it out, a lot of the rhythms that you hear now, a lot of these new artists, whether dancehall, reggae, or hip hop in particular,
even some of the dances
are coming back. You recognize that they're incorporating the rhythms. And then, I mean, I don't even want to consider the legal implications of that to say whether they're doing this with permission. I would hope so.
If you look at reggaeton, then that's a whole, there goes the argument.
That debate important for you in particular. Because I asked, and this is just crazy because I wanted to ask you something on the communication part now or in the music. How do I start?
My first degree is actually in communication.
Really?
Yeah, Language Communication Society. So that was, I won't say when it was, but I will say it was not recent.
Okay. It's okay, because I mean, you said something, and I'm going to take it one by stage. You said something in relation to how important it is, and I asked Mr. Townsend on our first interview that how important is it for persons to understand different backgrounds and whether or not your experience of different backgrounds assists you in the law and communicating with clients.
It does.
It does. So the question is, well, he said to me that for those who didn't really experience those things, they can learn. And it's true. It might be more difficult for you to learn and you'd have to approach it as a science because you never went through it. But certainly, you're right. Communication is key for the business of law, and anything that has to do with public speaking or anything else. You don't want to be talking over people if it is that they can't understand you. I think it's pointless.
Why do you think a politician at a rally speaks one way and a different way in parliament?
Yeah, perfectly put. That's a prime example of how it's important for you.
My father was in politics.
He was?
Yes, he was member of parliament.
Oh, which constituency?
He would have been Southwest St. Anne. So that's where he's from Bromstone. So my mother and my father are from Bromstone. Yeah. So you get to understand the importance of my father. I was a firm believer in never forgetting where you're coming from, and also learning to speak to everybody, because you just never know.
Yeah.
There was a gentleman who I counseled when I was a peer counselor. I counseled him at a point in his life when he was low, and I saw this guy probably like 7 years later. He's working at a restaurant, and the man looked at me, and the man said, Mr. Smith, whatever you want, I'll pay for it. So I said, I called the guy, and he's like, yeah, someone seems so different. Man said, well, stop the bleaching, stop the this.
Yeah.
And he changed his life around.
Yeah.
All the guys he hung out with are dead. Every single one of them dead.
Wow.
Yes.
So what you said to him was impactful.
It was impactful because at the end of the day, let's never know the person might end up.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So if you have to be able to live good with people, speak well with people, and I mean, if somebody is rude to you, that's different. But if no one is rude to you, there's no point to be rude to somebody.
Agreed. In fact, I was talking to somebody about that. That's important.
Yes, and
you don't have to make a point of, and you can tell me this, and I'm not going to get into specifics, but what's your thought on that point about persons who are they have this intimidation tactic theory of believing that once it is you talk down to people, you intimidate them, they'll respect you. As opposed to you speaking to somebody with respect, not necessarily behaving as though you're better than them or anything like that. Do you believe which of the two approaches the humble perspective or the intimidating perspective do you believe it's better to gain respect?
What a question to ask me.
I mean, it's real life. I'm pretty sure it happens.
Let me tell you why it's important. That's a very interesting question to answer.
Right.
A little bit of history as well. I didn't do any law type art subject. Nobody couldn't tell me anything back in high school.
Yeah.
I was gonna be Dr. Sanjay Smith. Yes.
That is
So I did sciences right up to sixth form.
look at that.
But high school changed me from wanting to be a doctor outright. Because with every high school, there's always the tension between the admin and the students. And a particular person at the school who was a member of the teaching staff. I won't say what the person's role was. But I said to the person one day, I was like 14 or 13. And I said, listen, speaking to people or to students in particular, anybody, in a condescending way or a shouting and what you'd want to say like an intimidating manner does not get you respect. Worse with me.
Okay.
Because I give everybody basic respect, you know. It stays in the middle. However, how you respond to me, you gotta go up or down. If it goes down, you're in problems. Now, there's a difference. I guess I can say I was a bit of a rebel when I was in high school. But I was a nerd. Not an argument, not an interview, not a story. But if you speak to people in a respectful manner, not necessarily condescending, not necessarily strong and authoritative, but if you observe the person, because people will always observe people before they speak.
True.
They look at how you dress, how you walk, how you talk, how your hair do, your nails, these things matter. Especially when a woman is looking at a man, she says, is his shoes clean? No commentary.
No, it's true. It's true. It's a full you do a full like observation. I think it's important that that we all do.
And it's based on the observations how you would talk to the person. But then it doesn't mean because the person is just in a particular way rating the person's of straw that you're going to speak down to the person.
Right.
That's not supposed to happen. I don't believe in that. I talk to you respectful. Morning, sir. How you doing? Anybody, client or not? Morning, sir. These basic manners we're taught as kids. We're not sure about now, but it's just basic communication, basic manners. Now, if you're gonna reprimand somebody, that's different.
I agree. That's a different thing.
But I'm not gonna mean to go say, Miss Charming, look at you. No, why?
Yeah. Yeah.
And what happens when you go, oh yes, very strong. Just me, but I sign your paycheck, have a seat.
Yeah.
These things matter. People need to understand the importance of being respectful, not coming off soft, but not coming off disrespectful or condescending. It's okay to just say, good morning, how are you doing? That's it. I'm not for the strong, condescending, disrespectful, or the shouting, or the trying to portray that I'm better than you kind of thing.
Yeah. I think that's an important mindset and quality to have. And I think it's something that's missing.
Watch the time.
Oh yeah, what time is it?
Very good conversation.
Oh, this is awesome conversation. Damn.
What time now? My phone there.
It's 6:18.
6:18. Okay.
We're going to try wrap up for 6:30.
6:30. Okay.
Can do a part two if you want to.
That you
You can do a part two because I really want to hear the reggaeton part.
Yeah.
In terms of the question about reggaeton and.
All right. Fine. So you want to skip a few tracks? All right. So Sanjay, you're familiar with the whole reggae debate that's happening now in terms of, I think there's a lawsuit that was taken out by
The guy who originally made the reading with Shabara.
Yeah, the name alone is just indicative of what comes from.
Right.
Now, contrary to what and this is an intermingling of law and music. Contrary to what persons may think, Jamaica is responsible for a lot of the genres that are actually out. Now, I remember when we were keeping Color Festival years ago. So I've also been in the promotion side as well. So DJing, promoter, the studio engineering, helping to produce. I learned how to mix and master, and then there's the other side as a patron. So anyway, so Color Festival came about. We're promoting things. We're doing what we need to do. The debate comes up. Oh, where does EDM come from? EDM is really a class of music now. And it's a big argument about yes, EDM come from England and blah blah blah. No. King Jammys and King Tubby down the road. This. That's where it comes from.
Yeah.
And you talk at a time when it could go between Jamaica and England very easily. So things like dub and dubstep and dance, Jamaica.
Yeah.
Hip hop, the persons who really did hip hop. There were 2 Jamaican guys who went to New York. So you get to see that Jamaica has actually pioneered so much music. Now, we have been sampled a lot in many different genres. And I remember oh God, I can't remember the gentleman's name now. Oh my God, big Jamaican artist. I think he sued was it Miley Cyrus or
Oh yes, I heard about that one. But
They settled out of court.
yeah,
that is always the best way to do it. Settle out of court. So you look at just us how influential it is. Now, the drum pattern for reggaeton, it is their core. But then their core comes from
Jamaica. Yeah.
Now, the importance of copyright is, in particular with music, it is so fundamental that if you fail to even do a poor man's copyright, you might find yourself out in the cold. Every year, Mariah Carey is sued over her Christmas album. A gentleman also, I think, took out a claim in December, which is last month, about the album. Oh, I was the first. No. Like, what? When was this? Oh, 20 years ago. But what?
Yeah.
So, if you do not copyright your work, and I'm going to say work because copyright only vests in work, not ideas. This is for, we know this.
Yeah.
But for the public to know, it's in the work, not the idea. Right? So what's the point of having the tool in front of you if you're only going to conjure it but don't put it to work or put it to practice? If the mind does not translate into work, still only a thought.
Yep.
Just like if Tarzan did not go up to Jane and say something, he will still be thinking about it. And the worst thing anybody want, look back and say, if I had only done this. It is an interesting topic in respect of reggaeton. I'm yet to see how it unfolds because reggaeton is a multi-billion-dollar industry. It's not a baby industry. It is huge. It spans the entire Latin American market plus other markets as well.
Right.
So I'm eager to see what will come of it, and if they rule in our favor, best believe it's
kind of worms.
Give me another joke about copyright. I read recently that there is actually a potential suit to come to hit a country that is a company in England, somewhere in Europe, I believe, though, around aluminum.
Okay.
You're curious as to whole why
Aluminum.
made from what?
What, bauxite?
Which comes from
Jamaica. Oh, I thought it was some other element.
So
Jamaica.
What I read is that the suit surrounds the technique of turning bauxite to aluminum. and who really did the work on paper to put the entire thing together. The argument is that it comes from Jamaica, which
Right.
will kind of make sense since it's zero box that it's from.
Really.
So it might sound simple. Oh yeah, the idea is mine. Okay, fine, it's yours. But what does that mean for all the money that that company would have made over the last 50, 60, 70, 80 years? This is the importance of copyright.
It is.
So you're looking at potentially billions of dollars. This is how important copyright is. And if you do not read up on it, if you do not understand, you may find yourself in problem. Ice Baby, Vanilla Ice, he found himself on the defendant side of a lawsuit over the beat, one part of the beat.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would have been the phrase, dang, 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 dang.
Yeah.
That is
yeah.
critical.
Yeah, it is.
The difference between Dirty Money and Go-Go Club Rhythm, same rhythm basically, same producer,
It's not the same? It's not the same rhythm?
the same rhythm.
Oh, but it's just different names now because they might have changed out some element of the instrument.
Same thing.
Mm-hmm.
The only if I'm not doing a comparison between a sample and the root original rhythm, you're thinking about gigging rhythm,
Mm-hmm.
then 2005 gigging, then thinking about unfinished business,
Right. Which is another thing.
which is certainly song No Games,
Oh, yeah.
which sampled the 90s rhythm.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And even you're gonna talk about dancing,
Right.
so
That's good.
Cuff It, for example, but they say, oh my god, Beyonce is so original. No, that's a Prince dance from the 80s. The entire routine, that's Prince.
Yeah.
I can show you a video with Prince with the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So
Let's even think about that for a second though. Like, let's think of some other dances today that
stir fry, screeching.
Yeah.
Alright, if you look at download
I tried to remember screeching.
the stir fry.
Mm.
Benny Bacana did the stir fry. Look
Oh.
at Screechy, it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The similarities there. Big up Ding Dong, Virgin, big up what that. It's very similar.
There's-
And it's fine.
Yeah.
And Ding will always give props to persons who came before him. Zip It Up by Bling Dog.
Yeah. What's that like?
Do you know that Ding Dong is in that video?
No, I did not. But I remember Zip It Up.
So
Do you remember? Because every time I bring this up to anybody in dancing, do you
Zip It-
remember Jerry Springer?
of course,
Finally, I've met my match. Some reason,
Jerry Springer.
every time the Jerry Springer dance, a lot of people in my age group
We don't know it. So Jerry Springer and LOY were pretty similar back in 1999. So Jerry Springer was a dance that people would do, especially to the bug rhythm. Because
Oh.
bug rhythm came out July 24th, 1999.
Mhm.
And at the time, if you wanted to premiere a rhythm at a party, you had to have it on dub plate.
Mm.
Dub plate is actually not just a man singing a song, but when you say plate,
Mm.
back to the word plate again, plate is actually a metal record.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
So when you were lifting up a man dub box back in the day, you had to have muscle. So that
Wow,
was
heavy.
metal versus vinyl. First time I heard Bug at Bug at a Party was at Fully Loaded, July 25, 1999. Was played by Tony Matera.
Mm-hmm.
His dub played the metal record that was pressed on because it wasn't up for production and wasn't fully released as yet.
Oh, okay.
So pre-release was a thing. Now, matching copyright and music again and such. Somebody releases a song. It comes out on the black market, bootleg before the release date.
Right.
And it's no one online for download on the it's called the dark internet?
Okay. The dark web.
Dark web, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They go, oh my god, that's my material. Who released it? Look at when Sean Fanning was sued by Metallica and the entire music industry and shut down Napster. Music and copyright and law merging.
Yep.
So listen, we could be here for the whole night, you know.
I know. no, you're in everything, clearly.
Yeah.
But yeah. I guess I'll try to narrow it down to 3 questions. Because clearly I don't want to.
No, we can do a part 2 now because you know after because
This is everything.
wear a bit of shirt, guys.
It's really good thing you know what Napster.
Yeah.
Always
Yeah,
been
man.
wicked about Napster.
Napster was a big deal. So Napster was one of the, if not the first real music sharing site. And this would have been 1998, 1997, when if you had a CD burner on your computer, you were rich. You know what I'm saying? But then if you had access to, if you had DSL versus dial-up, listen, you were downloaded. Of course.
Oh.
So you were downloading that song. If the song to download, you gone home, gone to school, you come and the song finished download. Hopefully. If you're not interrupted, somebody will pick up the phone and disturb the entire connection.
I remember that though. My cousin used that all the time.
Yeah. So there was music sharing back then, and then you weren't paying for it. When we were buying records back then, I mean, when I was in high school, they had 2 options. There had 3 options. Buy a record, buy a cassette, eat lunch. I was very skinny in high school. Yeah, man, if breeze blow my gum, we're doing. Won't even lie to you. Had a lot of cassettes, a lot of records.
Made money.
No, because when you're just starting out, and this is the basic of almost every business, you have to give and take. More give than you can take. To get your name out there. At 14, 15, really and truly, I'm going to give you 10 grand. 10 grand minus of money to play at a party. You young, unknown 14-year-old little kid who has to stand and create to go on the turntables. Not going to happen.
Oh.
But it's an investment.
Right. Have to put in the work to finally see the reward.
So, I mean, it's just, when you look at just how far the legalities of music and law, how they interrelate, and now with AI, because you saw how they use the AI Drake voice to do over a cartel song. Then the question becomes, if you can get this to be done like this, what does it mean for the artists and dubplate?
Right.
Because dubplate money was what artists really used to make money, especially in Jamaican dancehall space. Because let's be real, Jamaican artists, apart from the very, very few like Sean and Shaggy, they're not selling 5-10 million records.
Right.
But you make your money off dubplate. And I remember when I was trying to get dubplate when I was in high school, it wasn't easy. I couldn't afford it. You beg your drops or a sample.
Was it cost now like 100,000 per?
They were depending on the artist.
Oh.
If you're
Right, so it's
the big artist at the time, you're looking at, I won't call the artist name, but back in 1998,
how high can it get?
If it's an exclusive Clash dubplate, you're looking at a couple $100,000 for one song, innit?
Wow.
For one song.
And all they're really saying is the DJ name probably says some kind of quote in it. And then
Nah, man.
what are they saying in the
So I remember that. So Clash was one of the things that was a big thing when I was in high school, and it's a thing that my old song, what I was in. So before I did join Copper Shot, I had a song with my versions called Bloodline. So the song that Franco's in Bloodline Franco, it's actually my old song.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was me, Matty Samawood, and Peter Gabo, and Jason Reynolds, and then Ronald Williams. We formed and became Bloodline. Bloodline Sound Cruise is like back in, 2001. 2000. Yeah, man. And a lot of persons don't know. Kabaka Pyramid was my virgin used to play sound as well.
Oh.
Get that sound named Time Bomb. Have clashing sound as well. Beat them. Big up Kabaka virgin, but no, yeah. So Clash was an important part. And you didn't need to have 50 songs.
Right.
But you had to have the right song. And if the artist not gonna do the song for you, or if you do the song for you, but you go and call do the song and call next man name and this, that man in the song, you pay for that.
Wow.
It's not free.
Yeah.
You gotta pay for that.
Oh, so you can tell them what you want in there
and they know how to do it.
Make it, resonate with the people.
Exactly. So Clash was always a thing.
Yeah.
And Clash, oh my God. So you're looking at, and this is why fully loaded World Clash were critical things for sound systems. Because you get to see the expression of art. You get to see the skill and speech, and trust me, It's amazing to watch. That is the reason why other persons from overseas, like Germany and Japan and all across Europe, are like, yo, we have to come to Jamaica. There are persons who come in to learn to dance all still.
Yep.
They still do it.
A lot of Europeans as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's less now, but they still do come. And I can understand why, Popcorn was so upset.
You mean recently?
Of course.
Okay.
Because, and I don't care who vex, Jamaica's biggest products that we export is our culture. Culture. So when you talk about tourism, what are you really drawing the people in?
Right.
It's not the beaches. Because to fly to DR is less than driving to Ocho Rios. The hotels there are cheaper. People want the culture.
Yeah.
People want the jerk chicken. Why do you think when you put jerk on a menu in America, they go, oh my God, yo, it's Jamaican. It's our culture. We still push Bob Marley. We still push marijuana. We still push all these things about American culture, the music, the dance, the people, the fashion. Come on.
Yeah.
No, we're going to a whole different realm now.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to stop the process and narrow it down to 2 yes or no questions and then the big question. All right. So the yes or no question. Do you plan or are you doing any source of entertainment law considering your experience? Yes or no?
No.
Okay. Do you plan to?
It's a new year.
I feel like you have the base. I mean, you have so many connections in business. So
I may, most likely.
business-wise, I think it's a brilliant idea from friend to friend.
You sound like Suku from 121. It's the same thing you said to me. Sanjay, you do it.
It's true. No, I'm telling you, like me thinking about everything you just said. Obviously, this is no news to you. You're seasoned. You have the connection. You have the network. I think it would be a very easy ecosystem for you to create. You don't have to do it alone. Anyway, that's just my friendly advice, guys. Do you have a role model?
In law?
Generally.
Not just one.
All right, in law?
In law, I draw inspiration from persons who came in from my dad, my sister, Mr. Townsend. It's a lot of persons who I watch and their style, and you pick from that, and you try your best to emulate.
Yeah.
Just like in music, my inspiration was Delano and Stone Love and other persons, Renaissance, of course, Renaissance, Stone Love. You try and pull from that. It's a lot of persons who I can tell you I pull from.
And not to at all take from those persons, because obviously he's about to list them, but I'm gonna have to cut him off right now and go to the next question, which is do you consider yourself a role model? And
I think everybody is a role model to someone, whether they know it or not.
Yeah.
That is why it's always good to be of good character. Because you may never know who the person is who's watching you, who says that person is my hero.
I agree.
So from there, I will say I don't know for sure,
Yeah.
but if I am, I try my best to always have a good character.
Okay. Well, certainly you have made yourself, and I can tell you, it's no surprise to me how successful you have made your career.
I'm not
to this
rich.
point. It doesn't matter if he's rich, guys. I'm not. Sanjay and I literally went head to head in elections at law school for public relations officer. We go way back.
Oh yeah. Yes.
You did not forget.
I just remember. I was like, oh yes, that actually happened. That actually happened. I was like, no, she won, because I was like, yo.
He didn't take it as serious.
No, I didn't have the time. No, man.
So I was like,
Rykel went hard, and I was like, I said, Rykel, you put some of the job.
He actually annoyed me some points because I was taking the competition very serious.
Oh, I can't tell you that time they were in the dead.
Mm-hmm.
So you joking this thing out? I was like, not the time. Not the time.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know had I not worked that hard, I could not even decide I wanted a book.
So on the flip side, there's no surprise you're doing what you're doing now.
Oh, really? Thank you. So I'm just really, I'm happy I had the opportunity and you readily said yes. I didn't expect a no from you to do this interview, and I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
To how you really made this career your own. I can tell you that your a great attorney. You have made your name, and I've seen your successful appeals and trials that you've completed. And so I'd readily tell anyone that if you want somebody to represent you in the criminal arena or any in the civil litigation, because I do see you doing some civil law. Then
Civil law
Sanjay,
actually funny.
I'm feeling harsh, Corey.
Yeah, I know. I want that matter the same day.
I'm not even going to get into the detail, but obviously I can tell you firsthand he's great.
I try my best.
So thank you so much for being on the show, and if we do get to do a part 2, I'll be readily open to do that.
Yeah, man. I have no issue. I'm always ready.
But my final question to you, which is where I'll leave you to the floor and to the end of the show, is if you could, what's the question?
If you could go back in time, what would you?
Yeah, this was our last question to Mr. Townsend. If you could go back to in time.
What would you tell? What advice would you give yourself?
Right, let me just do it over so we can have it for the edits. If you could go back in time, what advice would you give yourself, and what would you do any differently if so?
Advice I give myself if I go back in time is be a better judge of characters and understand the importance of not procrastinating. Hard work from the onset. That's pretty much where, because a lot of times people get left behind or they fall down based on who is around them. Because somebody can waste your time, but then they go ahead. But then you don't realize
That's so true.
what you're doing. Because when they go home, you don't know what they're doing. So that's the advice I'd give to myself. And of course, be a better judge of character. People are people who you spend a lot of time with. Not saying that they're bad people, but also know your own situation and what you need to do to get where you need to go. Because some persons already have a plan that's set for them by somebody else. You don't know that. So you're there with them having a grand time and you're like, yeah, you know, school is a routine.
Yeah.
Daddy business is there. Mommy business. You don't know. Do what you need to do for you. That's what I tell myself. And do it now. Don't wait.
Love that. Love that. And that's it, guys. Sanjay Smith. DJ Sanjay.